Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Oh, let me turn off this other light. Hold on for a second. There we go. All right. It messes up our lighting. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Now I need to fix something real quick. Let me fix the order. I hope everybody is having a wonderful day today. All right, okay. So good evening, happy Saturday, everybody. I switched it to the panel. So tonight, of course, we're going to talk about the movie It Follows. Good evening, everybody. Hold on one second, I forgot my other thing here. I'm sorry. Everybody. Look, trying to do 50 million things at one time, that's part of the problem. And just wanted to remind everybody, everybody that's attending the live tonight, first of all, thank you for attending. That's the first thing I want to say. Good evening. I see some familiar faces here. Kiana Black, Beautiful Trail, Sanopa. Who else came through? Let's see. I want to make sure if I didn't miss anybody. Okay. Those are most of the names. Hey, Karina. Good afternoon, beautiful. I only got to watch the beginning, but I still wanted to listen. No problem. And anybody that wants to be a part of the discussion, you're free and welcome to come up. So we looked at the movie. There was a vote, and we had chose. It was against 4 movies, and it ended up being a 2-way tie. And this movie, It Follows, came out in 2015. The poster is above. Was the movie that ultimately won in the vote. And let me give you I want to say a quick synopsis of it real quick before we get to talking about it. I would say that, first of all, it was more of a thriller than a horror, but we can certainly talk about that as well, because opinions differ. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Okay, so according to this is about a carefree teenager named Jay, and she, has an intimate relationship with her new boyfriend Hugh for the first time, and she learns that she is the latest recipient of a fatal curse that is passed from victim to victim via intimacy. Death, Jay learns, will creep inexorably toward her as either a friend or a stranger. Jay's friends don't believe her, seemingly paranoid ravings, until they too begin to see the phantom assassins band together to help her flee or defend herself. So that's just a synopsis of the movie, right? So first of all, I want to start at the beginning, right? So the movie starts off just opening up, not really giving you, it's right in your face. Hey, Lorna, I just want to make sure, are you requesting to come up, sweetie? I'll bring you up if you are. I just want to make sure. It doesn't give you a lot of time to adapt when you start watching the movie, right? It's going to hit you as soon as you start watching that movie. Oh, awesome, Karina. I feel we had a lot of protesters today. I was very glad to see what happened, but I'm going to be honest with you. I took it was a Barack Obama day, and I didn't feed into any of it today. I really did a focus on me day and ate tacos. I really did. But needless to say, I'll continue. But the movie started off really hardcore. In terms of it didn't give you a lot of time to just relax. It wanted to set the tone of the movie very early on. Now, what I like was It told you very early on, follow your instincts. That's one of the things when I watch It Follows, it makes me think about follow your instincts. There were so many times that Jay should have listened to her instincts and she chose to do the opposite. Instead, she chose to do what was the easy path, the path that didn't make her look like she just always said no. That's how I felt, instead of her making better choices. Now, I want to ask, like, what were you guys' first thoughts when this movie ended? Like, for those of you who got to the end of this movie, what were your first thoughts when you got to the ending of it? That's one of my first questions. And then my second question is, how did this movie make you feel when you were watching it? Because I know when I was watching it, and certainly requests to come up, certainly when I was watching it, oh, you didn't like it. Explain, Kim. Go ahead. Share. Because everybody doesn't have to like it. That's the beauty of talking about art. Because movies are art. And everybody isn't going to like the art. So let's talk about it. What about it didn't you like? What made you not like it? And second of all, let me say thank you all for joining this evening. Tap that like button and that share button if you can. Just that's the copy link button. The movie is It Follows. This movie that's right behind me. You didn't like how it made you feel. Yes, the movie had a lot of tension the entire time. I will say that. One of the things honestly, I think the scariest thing about this movie isn't the things that you see following her. It's the tension and the choices and the thoughts that you're thinking, if it was me, what would I do kind of situation. Or what choices have I made in my life in the past that could have possibly put me in this situation? Okay, let me bring up everybody that's requesting. And I'm bringing up people who are requesting. The background is cropped. I don't see it. See? It's right below. It Follows. That's all it is. Just that's the poster for the movie. So I think that's the thing that makes people the most uneasy about the movie. The thing that makes you most uneasy is the what do you call it? To me, I think it's the choices that she has to make. Hold on, I'm trying to do something. Okay. Yeah, but you couldn't place. Yeah, it was hard to kind of figure out the time frame in which, like, what year it actually happened or whatever. I think that was a little tough to figure out. But honestly, I didn't think the time, like the year, mattered. Well, it was released in 2014. So remember, that was somewhat, that was 9-10 years ago. So when you think about it, these people come from, I'm assuming, like, to me, it gave an 80s, 90s feel. That's how I felt watching the movie. But that it was an early 2000s, mid 2000s movie due to the technology. Weird readers and plug in the wall phones. Yeah, it was. Now, what were your first thoughts when the movie ended? Because I know Kim said that the movie made her feel uneasy. But because I felt like, honestly, the cinematography was wonderful. The visuals in the movie are very, very well done. The symbolism and the things that it shows you in the way that the director goes about, framing things, or the cinematographer presents things. I thought that was very, very well done. So that's one of the reasons why I enjoy the movie, for that reason. And like I said, it's that constant tension with this movie. Did anything about the movie surprise you or catch you off guard when you watched it? Was there anything about It Follows that made you go, whoa, like I didn't expect that to happen? I know the first time I saw it, I did not expect what the entity, or one, I didn't expect how you could get the entity. And two, I didn't expect the entity to be what it was, or me to feel the way I did feel about it. That surprised me the first time I saw the movie. But what about you guys? How did anything about the movie surprise you, or did it catch you off guard? Hey, storyteller, good evening. Yeah, we're talking about the movie It Follows tonight, because that was the movie that was voted on. But was there anything about, the background noises? So the sound got you a lot. Yeah, the sound helped to create even more and more of the tension, because you knew something was happening or was going to happen, had happened, but you felt the tension that the character carried the entire time. The way it kept changing had you. And when you say, you mean the way that entity kept changing? Because it was never the same. And you never knew what it would be. Oh, you watched it with earbuds. Oh, yeah, I didn't watch it like that. Oh, no. Yeah, I can only imagine that watching it in that way, having the sound be all around you, is a lot different and stuff. A lot different. If you had to describe the movie in one word, how would you describe this movie? Like, what would it be and why, what would that word be and why would it be that word? If you could pick one word to describe this movie to somebody. Kim says weird. Yeah, weird. Yeah, it is weird. I will agree with that. I will agree. This movie is very different. It won't be like anything you've ever seen. It is good, but it is very, very different. It is not your standard issued Hollywood movie. No, I got this. I watched it right now. Today, I watched it earlier on Amazon Prime, but I had to rent it. It was like $3.99. I couldn't really find any place where you could get it for free or like as a part of a streaming package. Right. Not right now. Yeah, it's on Max. If you have Max, you can watch it there. But I don't have that, so I couldn't watch it there. I had to just rent it. But it's a good movie, though. It's a good movie. But I would say if I had to choose one word to describe this movie, I would say that word would be consequences. That would be my word. And not saying that in a judgmental way of the main character or any of the characters. Just saying this movie shows what consequences, like the choices that you make, what type of consequences could result from those choices. Yeah, it's just good or bad. Whatever those consequences. Now, in this movie, unfortunately, those consequences weren't good consequences. But it was, to me, it was a symbol of, be mindful of the choices you make, because they can follow you forever. That's how I looked at it. You'll be running forever. So be mindful of your choices. That's how I interpreted that movie. To me, it was also a symbol of, you can run fast, but you can never run fast enough from yourself. It was what my grandmother used to say. So you got to be mindful of that. Yeah, it was paranoia. It was a lot of that too. But the things that she was paranoid about were real. That was the thing. You could really see it if you had gotten this thing. Yeah, you could call it trauma. Yeah, the movie The Arrival is good too. I've seen that too. The movie is wild. I mean, It Follows is a wild movie. I mean, it genuinely makes you go, the hell? And you know the most ironic thing? If this was really a thing, if it was, understand, so many people would go down so fast with this. Do you understand? So many people would just go, oh well. Because remember, it were multiple men in this movie who were willing to engage with Jay in order to get it from her on purpose. That's what I found even more interesting to me. Like, I ain't sacrificing myself. Like, nah. I'm not doing that. Listen. I like how they made the aliens have somehow speak English, but oh yeah, that one was a good one. We can do that one as a movie discussion at some point if you guys want to too. And you say it doesn't follow you. What do you mean it doesn't follow you, Trill? In terms of, now I want to ask you guys, what do you think it really represents the thing that was following people. Somebody said trauma earlier, like it was their trauma following them. But what do you think the entity actually represented? You know, what do you think it really meant in the grand scheme of things? Because that's, oh, yeah, well, that's how I looked at it. I wrote that here. Funny, the villain is an actual STI. I thought that was, I mean, the concept is hilarious. I feel like it was a combo of trauma. So you feel like it's trauma that they caused others, not necessarily their own specific trauma. That's interesting. That is interesting. And so that's, oh, wow. Okay. That's an interesting concept. Because I guess you can say everybody has caused somebody some level of trauma, even if you inadvertently did it. You didn't mean to do it, but you may have done that to somebody. Okay. Do you think the movie is about, well, we talked about that piece, but how did the movie handle the idea of fear or paranoia? How do you think it handled that? I thought it handled it really well because it had my ass paranoid. I was constantly looking around for something. You know what I mean? Like when they would point the camera at something, I'm looking and trying to see, like, is it something over there? Nah, maybe it's nothing over there. No. It looks like something is over there. No, it is something over there. That, to me, it was creepier that what was coming was walking at steady pace. It wasn't running. It was just going to keep coming. That shit was scary. That was scary. Oh, you say maybe like a soul tie energy that gets passed. Oh, I hadn't thought about it like that. Ooh, and people tend to say that in real life, that when you exchange energies with people, it's a soul tie in many ways. Yeah, Kim, it was like Michael Myers. That's how I felt. I was like, it is just as tense and intense. When that old lady was walking across that campus, when she was in class, that shit was creepy. And then when she was walking down the hall and then that old lady started following her down the hall, it was just the fact that the old lady kept pace and she just kept going and did not stop. I was like, no. See, it couldn't have been me. Hey, Shea Butter, couldn't have been me, you know. But I understand how you also have to be mindful because nobody else can see what you see. So then people end up thinking you're crazy. And then you end up getting yourself put in a situation where you can't get away from it. You're trapped with it. Because remember, that guy told her you need to be in a place that has more than one exit. Yeah, that's what was even more scary, Kiana. Because other people, if they don't believe you, they'll think that you're having some type of mental break. Hey, DCJ, good afternoon, beautiful. Yeah, they'll think you're having some type of mental break. When in fact, you're being haunted in many ways and hunted when you think about it. And the most sinister part of it is, if you don't survive and that thing catches you, the person who gave it to you, it goes back to them. So it's like you can never escape it. Never escape it, because whoever you give it to has to make it their business. Like you have to be somewhat invested in them surviving, because their survival is your survival. Or you have to go find somebody else and do this process all over again to find somebody else to give it to. That's the insane part. That is the insane part, because it can always turn right back around to you. Now, do you think that the director of this movie had some type of deeper message? Thank you so much for the gift, Storyteller. I appreciate it, beautiful. Do you think they passed it on? You mean the couple at the end? Kim, I just want to make sure is that what you mean? Okay, so you remember at the end of the movie, they were walking and they were holding hands and someone was following them. The director leaves it up to interpretation for you to figure out who it's following. That's how I looked at it. Is it following her or is it following him? I'm thinking it's following him because the other guy got it, and then she connected with the other guy. So my assumption is he has it. But if he doesn't survive, it's going to go right back to her. And I figure if the other guy couldn't survive, no way he's going to survive. You know? You know what, Trell? You know what I found a metaphor too for things? The fact that she was able to easily find men who were so pressed to get close to her that they would risk themselves and their livelihood to catch it was crazy. That was crazy. Where they were like, yeah, sure, give it to me. I believe you. Give it to me. Wait a minute. Even if I did believe you, I'm not going to say give it to me. That won't be what I say. Are you kidding me? That in and of itself had me like, it's kind of like a metaphor. I looked at it like a metaphor for men that they will risk it all, even when they know that it's not a good circumstance, but they do it anyway because that's what those guys did. Both of them. And both of them went into it knowing what it was. And then the second one went into it knowing what happened to the first one and still did it. Begged for it, essentially. That was crazy to me because I know that never would have been a decision that I made. Ever. I can guarantee you. And you know what I did wonder too? Because they said you had to connect with somebody. Could the same genders connect and it still transfer? That's also what made me think too. Because they didn't answer that question. Because what is connection? You know what I'm saying? If you know what I'm saying. So that's where it made me go, huh. All of them was super pressed. But the landscape is interesting, like an urban wasteland. They all share. Yeah, they all kind of just, honestly, the very beginning of the movie, the tone of it was just really like hopeless. Is that the right way to say it? It came across as extremely hopeless. And I was just like, why? Even before anything had happened to the other, to the characters that we saw, I almost felt like they just were kind of just like, yeah, Miss K, kind of depressing. But I think that was also the way it was, the cinematography was done. But I think that was done on purpose so that you could, because in many ways, I guess Jay had some desperation to be liked, to get attention, to be noticed. Because remember that guy that she was dating, after he gave that to her, come to find out he was not even the guy he was pretending to be. Remember? She was so desperate, she didn't even take the time out to really even get to know the guy, to even know if it was really him or not. Think about it. We never saw their parents. I don't know where their parents was at, chill. That's a good point. We never saw parents. Yeah, she was catfished. But it tells you about the desperation that her character had. Because somebody said desperation. And when I think about it, yeah, she had to exhibit some level of desperation to be dating. Because she went on more than one date with the guy. Remember, she didn't connect with him the first date. She went on more than one date with that guy. And so it's like, huh. Yep, and the mom, yep, day drinking. Yeah, it was just very weird. But extremely, you're right, it was very depressing. And the kids were essentially all on their own to figure it out. It was like nobody seemed to care enough to try to help them figure anything out. Now, do you think this movie was more about physical danger or psychological tension? Which one do you think they leaned in more to? Did they lean into the physical danger of the thing, or was it the psychological tension that was really created knowing what's coming? And never knowing when it's coming, but knowing it's coming. Oh, Kim says the tension. Okay. And Cheryl, you said they were Gen X. Yeah, that's sad then, and that shit was depressing. I was like, wow. Yeah, you couldn't tell the time period, but I think that was purposeful. For you to kind of feel like, honestly, I kind of felt like it was timeless. The piece time was irrelevant for the piece They wanted you to know these people were in a place and these were the characters and these were the things, but the time period was not relevant to the story. Like they didn't. I think that was purposeful so that technology couldn't be used more heavily to intercept what was going on with this entity, right? Because think about it. If you were able to use more technology in relation to dealing with this, whatever this thing was, it would kind of change the dynamic of the movie, I think. So I think them having limitations about what they could do to try to help her through all of this, I thought was interesting. I thought that was interesting. But it does mess with your mind a lot. Because, like I said, it has you looking for stuff that you're not sure if it's there, but the camera's pointing there. So you're like, well, it must be something there because why is it pointing there? So you're steady looking and steady looking. So they're playing psychological games with us too. Because there are times that like at the beginning of the movie, before the young woman, before we see her in that crazy position, right? And her father calls her and she's on the beach and she's talking to him. When they point the camera at her car, I didn't see anything. Maybe there was something there. You guys tell me if you saw something, but I didn't see nothing. So I think a lot of times the director is playing psychological games with the viewer. Like, did you see something or did you not see something? Yeah, I couldn't tell what season it was either because at some point she took off her clothes. She took off her bottom and had on like her bathing bottom, I think it was, and top, and got in the water. Because I was thinking when she went to go do that, ain't it cold out here? I was confused because in the very beginning, her and her sister were walking and they had on coats. So, and Cheryl, you say you didn't see anything at the beginning. So I would say that's a testament to the director also playing psychological games with us and saying, you tell me when you think you see something. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I think it was like that. Now, what did you guys think about the music and stuff that was chosen to be played in this movie? It was a very different and unique choice, the music that they chose for this particular movie. It wasn't your usual movie where you're going to hear your usual teen rock song or something. It wasn't that. They didn't give you that in this movie. I felt like it made me feel like Halloween. Remember the movie Halloween? It was that type of tension. Yeah, Kim, it added to the uneasiness. It reminded me of Halloween. It was like this signature sound that the movie had. And in that signature sound, it created this extra layer of tension that sometimes you thought something was going to happen. Sometimes you weren't sure, but it always made you feel the tension that the character was feeling. Whether it was Jay or somebody else, but you always felt the tension. Yeah, Trail, always expecting something to happen too. Always expecting, and thank you all for tapping that like and that share button. I greatly appreciate it. Now, we talked about that piece because I said that I think the time period was unclear on purpose. Which character do you think made the smartest choices in this movie? Out of everybody in this movie, who do you think made the smartest choice? That's to me, I feel like, ooh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I know who didn't make smart choices. Oh, you say the sister made the smartest. Yeah, because the sister never put herself in a situation to ever have to worry about getting it. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, now that I think about it, the sister is probably about the only one that put herself in a position where she wouldn't be put in a bad position. But Jay just kept doing dumb stuff. I was just like, I don't understand. Jay was doing dumb stuff. Greg was doing dumb stuff. Paul was doing dumb stuff. All of them were doing dumb stuff. Where I was just like, okay, well, y'all want to get got. I don't even understand it. Or sometimes, remember that scene where they were in the house and they heard something break in the kitchen. And the guy went in there and said, somebody broke the window in the kitchen, right? And he says, I'm going to go upstairs and tell your sister. Wake up your sister. When she sees something in the kitchen, instead of her running out the front door, she runs upstairs. I was like, the guy told you, don't do stuff. Don't put yourself in situations where you can't get out. That didn't make sense to me. I was like, why would you run upstairs? I would have ran out the fucking house. You ran out of the house for less before. So that didn't make sense to me. Jay did a lot of things that didn't make sense. Hey, Moonchild, good evening, beautiful. Oh, you said you saw that movie, Tubi, and forgot what happened. Listen, that might have been a good thing. This movie, it gives you a lot of tension. It does give you a lot of tension. And it makes you think about what's at stake when you have a connection with somebody. Think about it. Hey, Monique, good afternoon, good evening. It makes you think about what's at stake every time you choose to have a connection with somebody. Because ultimately, that's what this movie was about. Every time you choose to have a connection with somebody, think about what you're putting at risk. Because that's really what it was. Because everybody was putting everything on the line, and some people didn't survive putting everything on the line. That's how I feel about it. Now, if it happened to you, now I'm asking an honest question. If this happened to you, would y'all try to pass it to somebody else? Or would you just accept it? That's what I want to know. If it was passed to you, would you just accept it and go down with it? Or would you try to pass it to somebody else? Let's be honest. Would you attempt to give it to somebody else? Or would you just go, hey, well, I guess it's mine, and you would spend your time trying to run from it? Whoa, so Moni says she would accept it and go down with it. Ooh, I don't know. Yeah, the end is gruesome. That's why I said, Shea Butter, what would you do? If you got it, what would you do? Would you just accept it and just try to survive as long as you can? Or would you give it to somebody else and hope that they survive? Because remember, if the person you give it to doesn't survive, it comes back to you anyway. So that's something to take into consideration. It's from us, and I don't think I could live with that betrayal. Oh, so you would want to go down too, Kim. Really? Ooh. See, this is so tough. Yeah, listen, honestly, I'm keeping it all the way a buck. I'm finding me somebody. I'm with you. Who was that? That's Shea Butter. I'm with you, Shea Butter. So Miss K, no, wow. If I call something, maybe you got to be honest with someone. Yeah, someone would love you anyway, but this ain't about love, though. You don't want to fall in love with a person that you give it to in this regard, because you already know this person going to spend their life having to run from this thing or give it to somebody else. So the question is, do you give it to somebody else if you get it? Oh, Kiana says she's scared of hurting someone. But somebody hurt you deliberately. Think about how you got it. You got it from someone that knew they were giving it to you. See, that's the difference. That's the different thing this time. You got it from someone that knew they were giving it to you, and they knew what they were giving you. And you can't give it back to them. The only way you can give it back to them is for you to cease to exist. That's the only way. It is. Look, it is Trail. It is. Yeah, unhealed people do pass their trauma. Doing life will inevitably, yeah, true that. Something you do will always hurt somebody, but, you say, okay, Moni says my action, my consequence. Oh, this is so difficult. It's really, I'm going to just tell the truth. It's not that difficult for me. I'm going to find somebody, honey. It may have to be someone deplorable, but I'm going to find someone. What if somebody gave it to me knowing they had it and they gave it to me and they knew this thing was going to hunt me down? Nah, man. I can't go down like that, man. Oh, man. Yeah. I'm, what they say, I'm sorry. Not sorry, but what they say, somebody got to catch you. I would have to, I just wouldn't, Well, let me ask you guys this question. What is the right or wrong way to handle a situation like this? If you got put in a situation like this, what would be the right or wrong way to handle it? Because remember, somebody gave you something that they knew they had, and when they gave it to you, that if you didn't spend all your time running from it or give it to somebody else, that you were going to not make it. Vengeance is the Lord's. Ooh. See, listen. What they say. Listen. I want to say I'm mature enough for that thought process, but I'm going to just keep it all the way above. I'm not even that progressive, Moni. I'm just going to keep it all the way above. I'm not even that progressive, honey. It's going to be some vengeance, all right. But I'm going to be more like Sam Jackson in Pulp Fiction, because, honey, I would be seeing red, like literally, like red rum, like, yeah. And because think about it. In the movie, it doesn't take long once you get it for you to start seeing it. What did they say, 3 days? But it's not even 3 days, because right after Hugh gave it to her, she saw it. It wasn't no 3 days. She saw it within a matter of hours. So you don't really have much time to adjust to the fact that it happened to you. But what's the right way and what's the wrong way to handle a situation like this, though? Hey, Sayana, how are you, beautiful? But what would be the right or wrong way to handle this situation? If somebody gave this, why did it take? I don't know why it took 3 days for Greg. Honestly, part of me feels like Greg was lying. But then the other part of me goes, maybe it meant something. I don't know if it was some symbolism or something. Or I don't know if Greg was lying or trying to deny what he was seeing. Like, remember that scene? Because this confused me. I felt like she was seeing her life inside itself. Remember when she was sitting in the house and she was looking out the window and she saw the guy walking down the street in the pajamas, and then he picked up that brick and he threw it in the window in that house that looked like her house, I thought. And then he climbed in there and then the girl ran out. Wasn't that her? Wasn't she watching herself? That's where I always get confused every time I see that movie. Or was it her sister? No, that wasn't her sister. That was her, right? So that's why I go, I'm a little confused. That confused me because I was like, wait a minute. No, that was it going after Greg. Oh, okay. Because that's why I was so confused. Okay, I understand where you're coming from. Because she ran in there to go try to save Greg from it. And that's when she saw her mother, or that thing that he thought was his mother. And he opened the door and it took him out. Oh, you're just now watching it, Lisa. It's a fun movie, but it's weird. But right. But it was okay. The thing was disguised as Greg. Okay, because that's what got me confused. Because I was like, wait a minute, I'm confused. Did he look like the same boy that's over there? Okay, right. Because the thing can take any form that it wants to. Yep. Then it became his mom. And then it took him out. And then it was doing that weird thing. I was like, yo. And I felt like that was symbolism too. That was symbolism. There was a reason why the director wanted to focus on that moment and that action with Greg and his mama on that floor. There was a reason why he sat on that for a minute. No, it's not on Netflix. I saw it on Prime. And someone says it's also on Max. That's where I saw it. Now, did this movie challenge how y'all think about like personal responsibility in relationships? When you guys were watching this movie, did it make you think that? And you're very welcome, love self. Because it just made me think and go, don't let the pressure of thinking you've got to go further with somebody just to continue to get to know them. Because I felt like that's why Jay did what she did with the guy, because she had the conversation with her sister. Yeah, it was very, very fast living life. Like I said, she didn't even know that he wasn't who he said he was, because she didn't take the time to get to know him or nothing. It was just like real just like, because I don't even think we know how she met him or anything. But it was very fast in terms of the time from when she met him to when she got physical with him. I thought that was very speedy. So it told me, like, slow down, take your time. Don't be so quick to hook up with somebody, because again, you might get yourself in a position where you end up with something you can't get rid of. I mean, because ultimately that's what it was. You never get rid of it. Think about it. You give it to someone else, but in the event that they don't survive, you get it back. So, yep, it was looking for somebody easy. Yep, men and women. But it goes back to what somebody said, that desperation, because Paul was desperate. Think about it. Paul was desperate. He knew. He saw what happened to Greg, and he was still pressed, which didn't make any sense. Like, bruh, get some self-esteem. But he had none. But Jay didn't have any. Think about it. She didn't have none either. It was a whole bunch of people with no self-esteem, just like doing wild stuff. Now, if you had to compare like this movie to other movies you've seen, would you consider, like, is it scarier? Was it more tension than a lot of movies you've seen? And have you seen anything else like this before? The name of the movie is this: It Follows. That's the poster for it right there. It Follows. But I would say I consider this to be a pretty good movie. I don't call it a horror though. I call it more of a thriller, actually. Yeah, it does kind of make you feel like Smile. I would say that. Yep. That's the perfect thing to say. It gave me that same tension that Smile gave me. I don't remember what movie Tyler might have did that was kind of like this. But this movie reminds me, you're absolutely right. It gives me that same feeling that Smile gave me. And Smile gives you a lot of, you feel all this tension. And you always are looking for something in Smile. It's that same thing. You're always looking for something. Like, is there something over there? Did I see something? What is she looking at? When is she going to crack? This movie gave you that same feeling. Because I never knew what was going to happen. Okay, Moni says it was a Tyler Perry did some movie like this before too, with those individuals. I don't know why it was his mom, Kim. That's a good question for Greg. But remember, it says you know what? I'm assuming it was his mother, because otherwise he wouldn't have opened the door. So it wanted to be what it needed to be so that he would open the door and it would get him. That's what I was thinking. Living Life says it reminds her of Fallen. Yeah, I can see that too. It was very dark and dreary though. I would consider it to be a very dark and dreary movie. Now, I want to ask you guys, when you were watching it though, did the fear come from knowing what was going to happen? Or was it from not knowing what was going to happen? Oh, and Kim says she thinks something happened weird with Greg and his mom. Yeah, it was something. There was some symbolism there. There was something going on there, man. I still don't. He said, remember when she asked him, thank you for letting us stay. You sure your mom, it'll be okay with your mom? He said, oh, it'll be just fine. Like it was the way he said something to her that made it sound weird. So maybe he had hurt her or something. I'm not sure. But did the fear in this movie come from the unknown or what you knew was gonna happen? The inevitable. Was it because you like, I wonder what's gonna happen next, and that had you shook, or because you knew what would happen next? What in this movie, between those two, what was it for you all? Because I felt like just when you think you know what was going to happen, you didn't know, because the entity always changed forms. It was never the same entity. And it never did the same thing. So I always felt like I never knew what was going to happen, and the unknown was what made me uneasy. Because who knew what was going to happen? Lisa says the suspense of waiting to see what will happen next. That's how I felt. It was more of what's going to happen. Because you know something's going to happen, but it's the fear of the unknown. Because how will it be done? Thank you so much for the gifts, beautiful. You want to know how it's going to be done. And you don't know. That's how I felt the whole time watching it. Now, do you think this movie was trying to shame people or empower people? To me, it didn't come across as like trying to shame people like, yeah, you done made bad decisions. But to me, it was more like, be mindful. That's how I interpreted it. Like, just be mindful. And it had me going, don't be like these people. Because they made a series of bad decisions. So I was like, I don't want to be nothing like these people, because these people don't make smart choices. A lot of things they did, I was like, this is stupid. I don't know why y'all doing this. But I felt like this movie was designed to get people to think. Because if you knew that it was a possibility that you could contract something like that, that's scarier than all the other stuff that is already out there. Because you're talking about this thing that's constantly seeking you. I felt that was a little different. And I'm trying to think of one more thing I want to add about this movie. Would you guys recommend this movie to somebody else? Is this a movie you would tell somebody to watch? And if you did tell them to watch it, what would you say in telling them to watch this damn movie? Okay, so Moni and Kim, y'all say, yeah, but what would you say to tell them to watch this movie? Like, how would you describe it to them? Because again, when I mentioned it to you guys and we put it in the poll, I was very mindful to say it's interesting, because you have to be careful, I think, in how you talk about it. So Kim says weird but good. Moni says it has a funky twist, very funky twist. Yeah, it is a thinking movie. It, contrary to what you think it's going to be, it does make you think. That's why I said it's not your usual teen horror or thriller flick, because it makes you think about stuff. I was surprised too, but you know what? I'm going to believe my friend, because remember on the beach, when she was sitting on the beach and something pulled her hair and then started yanking her, and then Paul hit it with the chair? So by that point, they had seen even more stuff by that point. So at that point, they're like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. There's certainly something going on here. What I didn't understand is that even though that happened, Greg still somewhat didn't believe. That's why he wanted to get close with Jay. Like, well, give it to me and let me see. He still didn't believe in many ways. Like, he believed, but he didn't believe. Paul always believed. But I think that Greg was like in and out of believing. Okay, I watched Confessions of a Marriage Counselor. I will absolutely watch that. Yeah, I'll absolutely watch that. I haven't seen it. Look, I'm going to write that down. Where's my email? Here it is. Because I haven't seen that. Yup. So there are two movies I need to watch, because I have The Mail that I need to watch. And is it The Mail? Oh, I gotta find it. I wrote it down, so I know I got it over here somewhere. But I'm pretty sure, I think it was The Mill, somebody said, that I also needed to watch. And maybe we can put that in the list too and vote on it. I've never seen it. So it's not a movie that I'm very familiar with, but somebody says it's really, really good. Yeah, I don't see it here on my desk. I've said it somewhere, but I think it was The Mill. Yeah, it was very suspenseful. I enjoyed this movie a lot. This is a good movie. I like movies that give you a lot of tension to the point that you almost want to turn it off because you don't like how it makes you feel, but at the same time you want to see how you need to see how that tension is released. Hey, good evening, inked aura. Good evening, and thank you. Did you think Paul go through the act with the professional? I don't know if he didn't know because it was following one of them. Or you know what? Could have, but the professional could not have survived because remember, if the person you give it to doesn't survive, it goes back to you. I haven't seen Straw yet. Straw is another movie to watch. That's right. That's that Tyler Perry movie yet. It came up when I went over on Netflix, but I didn't look at it yet. The movie is It Follows, and it is playing on Amazon Prime and on Max, is my understanding, are the two places you can watch it. Okay, I'll look at the Tyler Perry movie as well. Because I'm going to tell you, as far as like tension, another movie that makes me very uneasy, but you can't turn it off until it's over, is Don't Breathe. That movie, when I saw it for the first time, that movie is so much tension. It is so much tension. Ah, Inked Aura, you got to see It Follows. It's a good movie. You'll like it. You'll like it. But Don't Breathe is if you have not seen that movie, it's another movie that has some weird components. It really does. There are some scenes in that movie where I'm like, oh, come on. It was one of those movies that you wanted, like it pushes you how it makes you feel. And it's doing it on purpose. It's doing it on purpose. Hey, Mrs. Thompson, good evening, beautiful. Look, I'm so used to being on in the afternoon, I'm still saying afternoon. But it pushes you, I felt like, in a way that just makes, at least for me, when I watch Don't Breathe. Don't Breathe makes me very uncomfortable in multiple ways. It makes me uncomfortable that they're violating somebody's safe space. It makes me comfortable that he's violating somebody's safe space. That movie is spooky as hell. That movie is spooky because it's a fear of, because you see these stories really in the news where people get snatched and their family think that they're unalive somewhere, but they're really just trapped in somebody's basement. Yeah, that's why that shit creeped me out. That movie was creepy. And also a reminder, don't go into people's spaces without their permission. Because it could be to your detriment. When you're greedy, when you try to take advantage of people, be mindful, because people who look vulnerable, that doesn't mean that they're vulnerable. That man was terrifying. He was terrifying. Yes, and Don't Breathe 2 I felt was even scarier. Now, you know what I always found out about, what I found interesting about the Don't Breathe franchise was in the first one, he was the bad guy. But in the second one, they almost made him like a hero. Even though he still had done something bad. That's how he got the little girl. So I was like, wait a minute, now he's a hero? Because you notice how they did that? And you found yourself quiet as kept. Even in the first one, in some ways, I know sometimes in the first one, in some scenes, depending on who the character was, I rooted for the guy that owned the house. Except when it came to the chick. But in the second one, it was like I rooted for him. You know what I mean? It was like you wanted him to succeed. But when those guys came in there and he cut off all the lights and he said, now you see what I see. That's the creepiest shit ever. To be in a space with somebody who's blind, and you know that means their other senses are on 1,000. And they're in a space that they know intimately. You don't know the space. And you can't see. That's the crazy thing. And you can't see. That movie creeped me out. That movie was creepy, but I like the Don't Breathe series. Both of those movies are really, really good. I think the honestly, both of them are filled with tension in different ways. The second one, he's more of a badass, even more of a badass, because he was leading them into all types of stuff. But the second one, they made him like a hero. And I remember watching the second one going, wait a minute, didn't he? Hold up. He's not a good guy. He's not a good guy. And it made me never want to base anything ever again. Blah. All those close-ups in that movie, blah. We'll pass on that. But that's another good movie that I like the tension that they build and that they create in that movie. Another movie that I recommend that you guys need to see is Audition. If you like tension, oh my goodness, that is a movie that is nothing but tension. It is psychological tension, it is physical tension, but it is both. I highly recommend seeing Audition if you have not seen that movie. It is a foreign movie, but it will make you feel so uneasy, and it will make you think about, again, it goes back to these lessons on life. Be mindful of your interactions with people and dealing with strangers and allowing them so quickly into your life. Because, a lot of times, especially with social media, people are so quick to connect with folks and pull them into their personal life and their personal space. You got to be careful. And I think a lot of these movies show that you need to be extremely careful about pulling people into your space. That's something that we all got to think about. But that's the stuff that had me sitting and being uncomfortable in watching It Follows. Because like I said before, Jay was so fast to pull that man into her space, to pull Hugh into her space, that she didn't even know his real name wasn't Hugh. Like, that's how thirsty she was for some companionship. Or just to feel grown. I'm not sure what it was, but she just came across as blah. Now, before we wrap up tonight, I do want to take a little bit of time. To talk about what went down today. And not just the parade, but the stuff that went down in Minnesota. And I'll talk about it a little bit more tomorrow morning, but I can't wrap up tonight without mentioning that, because I'm trying to think of the best way to talk about it without TikTok being TikTok. You know how that go. What's the best way to say it? Hold on. Look, I'm going to just put him back there. Put Paw back there. But anyway, the political climate has been escalated for many years since Trump came along. Even before Trump. I'm going to be honest. It was even before Trump. Because Republicans have been escalating political rhetoric for several decades now. And in escalating the rhetoric, there are consequences to saying those things. And there are a lot of people who will listen to your words. When you have certain levels of influence, you need to be mindful about the words and the things that you use, because a lot of people take you literally. And they will do the things that you infer, highly suggest, even if you don't say them outright. Just the mere suggestion is enough for a lot of people to take actions. What I found today, once this news came out, the thing that I noticed the most is that conservative media, they ain't trying to talk about it. Yeah, and I'm not surprised Trump didn't say anything about it, because he's not going to. He's not going to. Because technically, he don't feel bad about it. That's the first thing. Second thing, even though it happened to him, so-called, Trump is the type of person that if it ain't happening to him, he doesn't care. But I do blame him, and I blame the Republican Party too. I don't just blame Donald Trump. The Republican Party speaks this way too. Y'all hear what Florida was telling people? They were telling, the Florida Police Department was telling people, if you protest, we can unalive you. That's insane. That's political rhetoric. That's insanity. And the American people look at this stuff, they should be outraged. That's your government that's gotten too big for its britches, talking to you like you're a child, as if you don't have a constitution that gives you the freedom and the rights to have an opinion. But the very people that claim they were always fighting for freedom and everybody's freedom and liberty, those are the very people that want you to shut up when it doesn't align with what they believe in. It's what I've been telling people the whole time. Yep. Conservatives always say that liberals are anti-American, but the liberals are actually the patriots. The liberals are the ones that actually believe in freedom. The liberals are the ones that actually want you to live your best life, and they want the system to work for you. Now, I ain't saying like liberals always do it right, because nobody does everything right all the time. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that when people make the statement, they're both sides and they're not that different, well, then that means you're not paying attention. Because they're not the same. They're not. One of the Democrats have never said, don't educate your children. I've never seen a liberal politician ever say that. Conservatives say that. Republicans say that. That's insane. For your own government to say, don't get educated. Education is essential to your life. Education is power. Knowledge is, it goes back to what I keep saying. Knowledge is power. People who don't want you to get educated, there's a reason why they don't want you to be educated. And you should always be suspicious when the people telling you this are highly educated. It's like trusting the wolf when you're a sheep. It's like, come on. Come on. And you know, the person who did those things in Minnesota, they found out that he is a pastor. An evangelical pastor. Hey, Miss Brown Sugar. Good afternoon. Good evening, beautiful. I keep saying afternoon. It is a pastor. Yeah. That's how radicalized they are. That's why I keep saying that religion, that evangelical religion, that evangelical Christianity. I told y'all, people keep talking about ISIS. ISIS is not anything Americans need to worry about. It is crisis. The Christian right is more dangerous than any group in America. Now, keep in mind, Trump just put the 22-year-old in charge of the terrorism unit. And they got rid of their domestic terrorism units. See, as far as I'm concerned, all of this is on the Trump administration and ultimately on Donald Trump. Because if the government was doing the things they were supposed to be doing, then maybe this wouldn't have happened. And I'm going to tell you something that's even more sad. And in this situation, you cannot expect the Justice Department to charge him because they were liberals. And since he's a pastor, I got Pam Bondi's ass talking some religious liberty bullshit and why she won't charge him. Hey, Striking Dog, good evening. I think they caught him. Let me see. I don't know if they caught him, but I know he got out of the house, but they still had his truck. He posed as a police officer. He posed as a police, and he had a list of people that he was going to get. Hey, Cindy, good evening, beautiful. He had a list of people that he was going to go get. Let me see. Hold on, I'm looking to see any information. Let me see. I don't. Oh, I'm gonna save that. It was someone from the. No, it wasn't Robert. But Trump does shit himself, Robert. He shit himself during the parade. Bye. I know Robert didn't think he was going to come in here this evening with that, but I wanted him to know Trump shits himself before I booted him. So Pastor don't know that he should not. Apparently not. I'm trying to see if okay, I'm looking for more details. They say, and you know why we should be even more concerned that this man posed as a police officer, which allowed him to unalive someone. A lot of the ICE and all of those people that are going around in DHS, the government is allowing them to wear masks. Now, one thing I can guarantee you, all of those are not government employees, and all of them are not police officers. Okay? So you already got who knows who the hell they done hired to just detain people and snatch people. Now you got people impersonating police officers. How is the public even supposed to be able to tell? Yeah, ICE does have on street clothes going around getting people and just snatching them. I put up a post earlier where Trump said Padilla, the Senator Padilla that got snatched up when Noam was doing her press conference. Now understand, he didn't barge into that press conference. He was already there on site at another meeting, heard about the press conference, asked to be escorted to the press conference. Could he go to it? The FBI walked him down to the press conference. Everything was fine until he asked the question. Soon as he asked the question, they went to drag him out of there. That's what happened. And you know what Trump said? Trump said, well, it probably happened because he looks like he could be illegal. We just gonna say the racism out loud. Trump don't have to be quiet about it no more. For what? He got people around him that co-sign the shit. He got a whole party that co-signs it. That's why I say, if you keep voting Republican, you can say all day you're not a racist. That's a fucking lie. The party's racist. You can't cherry pick one or two things and be like, no, I can ignore all that other shit. That's crazy. And the crazy thing is, if they'll talk about Hispanics that way, you don't think they're going to talk about everybody else that way that don't look like them? Come on. Yep, he had been talking shit about it. Trump been talking about shit about everybody that ain't white for decades. Yep. And to your point, Lorinda, he has zero accountability. And he has zero accountability because guess what? There's a large segment of America who agrees with him. That's the real conversation that has to be had. I keep saying this party is bigger. This issue is bigger than Trump and bigger than the Republican Party because they're a symptom of a bigger problem. Let's see. Yeah, they're a symptom of a bigger problem. And we got to deal with that problem. And the problem is people are still dealing with a whole bunch of hatred. And you go, what's the root of that hatred? Trump didn't make a statement because Trump doesn't care, Ashley. That's why Trump didn't make a statement about it. And he doesn't, and he's probably happy about it. So he's not going to say anything. And I can guarantee you guys that I'm pretty sure my instinct tells me the Department of Justice will not charge this man. They're going to say, yeah, religious freedom. The state is going to have to charge him with whatever they're going to charge him with. Yep. or he'll just walk free. But I do not think that the Justice Department will even allow him to be charged, because they want to send a signal without saying anything. What you're doing is perfectly okay. Just telling you. And again, it is Trump and the Republican Party. It's not one person. It's not one person. It's Trump and the Republican Party. And until Americans hold the party accountable, y'all got to hold them accountable. Republicans keep going further and further and further to the right because they keep winning elections. And so they just keep trying to one-up each other as a party inside of their own party. The only way to get rid of it is, one, stop voting them in, and two, liberals got to be more aggressive. I keep saying it, in a liberal's quest to be morally superior, they continue to fall behind conservatives because they're a dirty ass party. And so you can't spend your time trying to be this morally superior person, because they're going to continue to do morally bankrupt things to oppress you. When liberals get in power, they need to gerrymander districts. Shit, Republicans do. They need to jam through as many judges as possible. Republicans do. You think by having some noble sense of being like, well, we don't do what they do, as if you're going to win some brownie points for that shit? Of course not. You will lose elections doing that shit, though. And that's a fact. That's why I say to the Democrats, they got to get their strategy together. You have a beautiful opportunity to really turn the country and reveal to the country who they really are. That socialism is okay, that they've been socialists all along. It's just that the other party, the party that loves rich guys and big people's money, the party that oppresses you, the party that tells you that you're free when you're really not, you're just working all the time and you don't realize it. That party, that's not the party you should be voting for anymore. And show comparison stats. Like, show it. Like the fact that Republicans are run by Texas is run by Republicans, right? I know it's almost impossible for Democrats to win there because it's gerrymandered. I totally get that. But what I still would take a chance to do if I was a candidate in those elections, I would talk about the decline or the deficits in the areas under Republican leadership in the state of Texas. And talk about how that elected Republican official, because they all say the same thing, talks about how horrible government is, but talk about, well, you've been there for 20 years. So what the hell have you been doing for 20 years? And calculate how much total his salary was. We paid you $10.5 million in 20 years. And you've only bought the whole district 10,000 total jobs in 20 years. You know what I mean? Really make the stats make sense to people. You know, that means that everybody in the district didn't even get one job on average in the 20 years you were in office. You know what I'm saying? Just calling the shit out in a plain language way that makes a connection that makes sense to people. That's what people miss out on. That's what that's what I see the disconnect happening. Because those aren't the conversations that need to happen that should happen. And their dependence on blue state. Yeah, talk about their dependence on, I don't understand why no elected official talks about how it's not a flex to have a tax-free state. A tax-free state means that your government isn't working as well as it could for you. An income tax-free state? Because they don't tax businesses a lot. Like Florida? Nah. Them big businesses? Hell no. Now, mom and pops, they tearing their ass up. They getting Floridians on all the other shit. Property taxes, they nickel and dime you on all the other stuff. But you have to ask yourself, if my state isn't bringing in enough income, well, what can it really do for its citizens? Not much. We do need integrated communities, Jose, but in order to be integrated, everybody has to feel safe. And that's just a fact. And the problem is in America, everybody don't feel safe. Because unfortunately, the history in America is when certain classes of people have things that other people don't have, they destroy it. That's just the reality. So we got to deal with that part. See, everybody want to be kumbaya, but don't nobody want to have the uncomfortable conversation about why it hasn't been able to happen. It isn't because people haven't tried. It's because people don't feel safe. Because of historically they shouldn't. Got to be honest about it and have a real conversation. Did you judge Biden when he fell? Yep, I sure did. And I also judged Trump, be real, because Trump shits on himself. And he has a Capri Sun taped to his leg. Ha 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 ha. Bye. Oh, you know she mad. You know she mad. Bliggity blah. You know she mad. Ah. They love to talk about Joe Biden. Yeah, I said something when Joe fell too. He fucking old. I expected him to fall. Right. And I'm going to talk about his old ass falling too. And when he falls, that's that Capri Sun shaking in that bag. I want to know, is that Capri Sun bag, is it made in America? Or are they buying made in China products? Someone needs to FOIA that. We need to know. We need to know. Oh, somebody's so hurt about me talking about Paw Paw, who's president, who pisses and shits on himself. Bye, Chew. Yeah, Chew is in their feelings. Chew gone. They gone. All mad. I just want to know if that catheter bag is made in America. Because if he's really a patriot, the way he says, he shouldn't be using any products made in China. No diapers made in China. No baby wipes made in China. No diaper rash cream made in China. All those things should be made in America. Not Google catheter leg bags. You know what you should Google? Google Capri Sun tape to leg. Yeah, you gotta have rash cream. Everybody knows if you wear a diaper if you put a diaper on a baby for way too long, all that humidity, Jesus. It's like a swamp in there. Can you imagine? That gives new meaning to peel me out the plastic. I've been acting brand new. Listen. 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 He get to the White House. He get home like when ladies get home and they want to take their bra off. I got to get this bra off. He the same way about that diaper. Get this thing off of me. And if he's wearing a diaper, you know they put a little pad in the bed. You know how they put, when people are older, they put that little pad in the bed in case if they have a little leak or something. Ciao. 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 And can I tell you how I smiled today when it started raining during the parade? I smiled. I said, rain. Yes. Rain. Oh. Because he was mad. He ain't want to sit down because he didn't want that diaper to get wet. Catch it. Listen. His trails in the White House. Come on now. When he walks. Listen. Look, when he's walking to the White House, personal quarters. And they say, Mr. President. Yes? Oh, never mind. I found it. And he just keeps walking. Of course there's spills. Of course there's spills. Like I said, I want to know if those bags are made in America. I want to know if the diapers are made in America. We have questions. Oh, turnout was massively low. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to have some pictures for y'all. They couldn't give tickets away. Do you understand? Especially in this economy, who the hell going to travel all the way to Washington, D.C. with this economy, with these prices that you created, sir? He created these high-ass prices. Who the hell going to travel to D.C. just to hang out aside in the rain and risk breaking a hip, catching? Who's going to do that? Who's going to do that? Only a few select few people did it. You know, they were paying people to come. They were paying them $1,000 in Bitcoin, 1,000 Bitcoin to come, and they told them what to wear, and they would give them a red hat. Chill. Now, I didn't watch the footage today. For those who watched, did he wear a military outfit? Did they drive him on a little float and give him a little crown, and he waved everybody with a sash? Like how they do it. Hey, Lois, because I genuinely did not watch it. I didn't want to see nothing. Yeah, you know, they always think we control the weather, child. Not broke the cat to the bag on the stairs, listen. But you know what? You know why conservatives always say it's paid actors? Because they do it. I keep telling y'all with conservatives, it's always about projection. Always. They're always going to tell you what they have done or what they're going to do or what they are doing. They expected 250,000, got child. They didn't get no 10,000. They ain't get no 10,000 down there. Listen, I'm local to the area. They didn't get no 10,000. The devil's a liar. They didn't get no 10,000, beloved. They wish they did. They didn't get no 10,000. Now, they had a shitload of people down on the Capitol for the No Kings March. That happened, protest that happened. But nah, it wasn't what you thought it was. I watched Don Lemon and Joy Ann read live on YouTube. So you watched that instead. Yeah, I didn't look at it at all. No, I didn't see about Chicago. Yeah, that parade hardly had anybody there. And again, I told you, it was raining outside. It was raining outside. Yep, GOP is gaslighting, obstruction, and projection every time. But think about it. How he doesn't do rallies anymore. Think about it. Who the hell, even if Barack Obama did this, can I be honest? I still wouldn't have gone. I'm not coming outside to no fucking parade to see the military march. Man, get out of here. If I'm going to go to a parade, I want to see marching bands and floats and little kids and animals, you know, in the parades. I want to see shit like that. I don't feel comfortable being at a parade that's a military parade with my military. And then spending government dollars to just show them off and have them move around. No, it's a holiday weekend. Shouldn't they be relaxing with their families? But instead, they're marching in a fucking parade. I just felt like it was a huge waste of resources. And so remember, the same party who told you there's no money for your health insurance paid for Paw Paw to give himself a birthday party. Under the guise that it was an Army celebration. Yeah, it was an Army celebration, but you didn't do it for the Navy. You didn't do one for the Air Force. You ain't do one for the Marines. He want to be a dictator so fucking bad. He wants to be some... How are you going to reign over everybody when you have no control over your bowels and your bladder? I'll wait. Because I've yet to see it. That's why I honestly think he's mad every day. Every fucking day, he's upset. Because every day, he's losing more and more control of his body. And his mind. Every day. Think about it. He's 79. Trump turned 79 today. He is the oldest president that's ever been sworn into office. So everybody want to talk shit about Joe Biden age. Joe Biden wasn't that old when he got sworn in. He was on his way to fuck out. America messed around and swore in a guy, the oldest president ever sworn the fuck in. Y'all swore in somebody to office that's wearing diapers. Literally. You swore somebody in the office that has no control over his bladder. Literally. Literally. Like I said before, I want to know when they change Trump's diaper, does he lay down on his back or does he stand up and get sprayed down? I need to know. I need to know. These are questions the American people want to know because they cost us money. They cost us money. How are y'all doing this whole process? And I told y'all earlier this morning, I want to know, do they have a diaper genie on Air Force One? Because if he has an accident on Air Force One, where do they put the diaper to keep that smell contained? Where do they put it? Because I know it's costing us a lot of money. All that shit got to be costing us a lot of money. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to burn your eyes. But these are questions I ask myself. I sit and I just go, now wait a minute. I know when my grandmother needed these products and these things, you know, there was a cost associated with them. So I wonder, like, how much money is spent on Ensure? You know, I want to know. How much money is spent on Fiber One? I want to know. These are all questions that I have because our money is being spent on it. Our money is being spent on it. Like, I'm supposed to believe Trump is married to Melania Trump. Now, one thing I know, at 79, he not giving her no action at all. Impossible. Impossible. She's there for the money. She's always been there for the money. But her job is the easiest it's ever been. Because he's too tired to do anything. Too tired to do anything. Not the Miralax. Listen. Nah, he taking Central. That's how come he was gassy. Sat up there and drank a whole bottle of Central. Just as gassy as all get out. He like, I didn't know we were going to have another meeting tonight. I thought I was in for the evening. No, sir. Meet us in the situation room. Well, I can't. I'm already having a situation. He's 79. Okay? He's 79. I am not going to stop talking about this age thing in relation to Trump. I'm not going to stop talking about it because the conservative media would not stop. And since all of the media now, even the liberal media, doesn't want to talk about it, I'm going to make it my business to keep bringing up this man will be 80 next year. Next year, Donald Trump will be 80. He'll be 82. What, by the time coming out of office? That's insane. I'm waiting, man. You know what I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for where we don't get to see him walk out to anything no more. They always got him sitting behind the desk because they had to wheel him into the desk and dump him behind the desk. Then wheel him back out. You know what I mean? He's almost 80. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. We got to be honest about it. Being president ages you. They say when you're president, you age a lot faster than you do in any other job because it's a 24-hour job. So if he's 79 now and it's aging you like crazy, he gonna be like almost 90 by the time he get the fuck out this job. And then has the audacity to talk about Trump 2028. Where? Where, sir? Where? Come on. Come on. Come on. This is what I'm talking about. When they talk with that Make America Great Again shit, this is about old people still living in the past. Real talk. Real talk. He ain't doing the job, but even if he was doing the job, get the fuck out of here. I'm not electing no 80-something-year-old dude to be president of the United States. Because I figured with the math, you ain't going to make it 4 years. That's my assumption. That's my assumption. I know my grandma, she used to go to bed by like 4 o'clock. So I figure, bruh, he a wild boy. He a wild boy because he be up all times of the night. 2 o'clock in the morning, he on Truth Social raging. Raging. That means that he takes naps throughout the day. They put Paw down for a nap. I'm assuming that means they change him before they lay him down, and they change him after, and they change him after he gets up. That's my assumption. But this is supposed to be strength. How the fuck is this strength? Oh, Trump's sundowning big time. But watch how much the White House tries to hide his condition. I'm telling you, karma's a bitch. All that shit he talked about Joe Biden, and I'm like, dude, every time he would talk about age, I would go, well, shit, you're just as old as fucking Joe Biden. What are you talking about? Man, just wait. Just wait. This damn age, it's already starting to hit him. Think about it. He had the bruise on his hand. He fell up the stairs. He has the bag taped to his leg. What else? What else don't we know? That's the stuff we do know. And what we do know is the White House will always lie. So we're not going to know what's really going on with Trump till it gets to a point that they can't hide it anymore. That even when we see it, they'll still lie about what it is, but we'll get to see it and know what it is for ourselves. But they're always going to lie about it. We'll never know Trump's anything, his real health. Remember, he said he was the most fit president in history. At 79, sir. See, that's that bullshit. That's the only way I can say that. That's that bullshit. You're the most fit at 79? Okay. All right. Fuck it. If you like it, I love it. Ain't that what they say? If you like it, I love it. Because obviously, he believes anything. But it isn't about him believing it more so than it's about convincing other people. And listen, old people love to hear Trump say this shit because it makes them feel like they're young too. Just like when they talk about, oh, we going to rise up and do this, that, and other. How are you going to rise up? You get winded walking to the refrigerator. Rise up how? Rise up how? Rise up and do what? In the chair, in that motorized chair that lifts you up because you can't stand up on your own? You know those chairs that lift them up real slow where they just be like, them do what? Rise up against what tyranny? What tyranny are you going to rise up against in that motorized scooter? We take the battery out, you're just going to sit right there and watch all the tyranny happen. That's what you're going to do. That's what you're going to do. That's the real tyranny. Running all across middle America and taking all them batteries out them fucking scooters. Then we'll see who bout it. How much you want to rise up? You going to raise up on your feet? You going to get on them 2 foots, them 2 diabetic ankles and fight the tyranny? Of course not. Your high blood pressure won't allow you to. That's why I always laugh at the shit. I'm like, get out of here. When you see the people that say these things and claim they're going to do all this stuff, I'm like, who are you about to take over? Who are you going to take over? Doing what? How? While they wait to go to their VA appointment. Make it make sense. Come on. Come on. Come on. I don't know. I'm being honest with you guys. I don't know where the end game is for any of this. I really honestly do not know. That's how bad it is. Because I don't know. I'm not going to tell a lie and say, I think it's going to end like this. Because I really don't know. Oh, you sleepy? It's sleepy for you, Greece? Okay. Bye. Go lay down, beloved. And another one. Aw. Sure, DCJ. How do you think it's going to end? Because honestly, I'm not sure how it's going to end. I don't know if the country will flip back the other way. I don't know if it will even be a structure there to flip back the other way. What I do know is this: all of this stuff that Trump has done sets us back for decades, because the time that it's going to take to clean up the mess to then get back to progress, that won't be fixed in your lifetime or my lifetime. Maybe not even your children's lifetimes. That's what America allowed old people to do to it, because the old people were still caught up in back in the day. Back in the day, they used to be somebody, and they don't feel like nobody no more, so they'll burn it all down. Yeah, but you're right. Political history seems to have errors of behavior. That's why I said I think it's going to swing back, but I don't know what it'll swing back to. No, it's going to take more than 8 years to clean up, AJ. I'm talking 30, 40, 50 years to clean up. It's going to take a long time to clean it up. Long time. This is not something you turn around in 8 years. You're talking about the destruction of multiple government agencies happening simultaneously. In addition to the courts, in addition to Congress, everything's all fucked up. Everything. And allowing an immigrant to come into being infused in our government and then steal data of every American. You're talking 50, 60 or more years it's going to take to repair that. It's going to take a long time. But in order to repair it, you also have to get to the bottom of what it is with society. See, for many years, when people wanted to talk about racism, you know what people would say? Stop talking about that. We got to stop talking about it. You know why they didn't want to talk about it? Because they didn't want to deal with it. You know what the conversation would be? You can't hold me accountable for my ancestors. Really. Because a lot of you spend a lot of time still celebrating your ancestors. So it's okay for you to celebrate them, but you don't want any reparations to be applied to the people and their generations that were impacted by your ancestors. You don't want to do that. That's the bullshit. That's what I call it. I call it what it is. It's bullshit. And it's racism. And it's racism. If you open your mouth and say, well, I didn't do it, nobody said you did. So the fact that you make it about yourself when the conversation ain't even about you says a lot about you when you say that. It says, I don't want to have this conversation. And the way I can get out of having it is to accuse you of attacking me. That's why I don't fall for that shit. Just because I got more respect if you say I just don't give a shit than to claim you're being attacked. They kill me with that one. It says it has absolutely nothing to do with that. They can't even see it. That's what they always do. Agree. We're going to have to create a new code backed up with a mechanical decipher independent of... I'll wait for the rest of your comment. Oh, Anthony. Oh, you want my attention. Boom, boom. It's time for you to go to sleep. Boom, boom. Bye. That's your bedtime. It's 10:45. Sure, DCJ. I'm about to be wrapping up soon, so I'm not going to be on much longer. But if you would like to come up, sure. I'm gonna be wrapping up because I'm getting sleepy. Because they see what they want to see. They ain't stupid. Yeah, that's true. They do see what they want to see. You ladies all know it's hard to walk upstairs in heels. Listen, it sure is, especially heels where you got lifts in them. When you got lifts in your heels, it's really difficult to walk. It's really difficult to walk upstairs because you're leaning forward, you're teetering forward. So it's very difficult when that happens. Very difficult. Hey, DCJ, good afternoon. I keep saying afternoon. Good evening, beautiful.
Good evening. You are like one of my favorite people on here. Just thought I'd like to say that to you.
Oh, thank you so much.
My son and I love watching you like in the mornings as I get ready for work and he's getting ready for school.
Awesome, awesome. I'm glad. Thank you so much for watching and supporting. I greatly appreciate it.
Oh, we greatly appreciate you. And he just absolutely loves you just as much.
Awesome.
So, just right quick, today I kind of went down a rabbit hole regarding the Trump baby accounts. I don't know. That is part of the big BS bill. Do you know what that is?
No, I haven't heard of the
Oh,
Trump baby accounts. Yeah, tell me. I'm writing
I
that
will.
down.
Oh, girl. So, they're trying to wrap this up as it being for the children. So, this is supposed to be for any baby born between January 1st, 2025 till December 31st, 2028. So, it's a 3-year span. And within
Okay.
this 3-year span, each baby born in the US with at least um, one citizen parent can get an account with $1,000 to start. And
Okay.
okay, so this is kind of like kind of like a 529 plan, like a college fund. So it's
Oh,
like a
okay.
college fund kind of thing. And so then I thought, well, and so they give you $1,000 and you can contribute a max of $5,000 a year.
Okay.
And this is what I looked at when I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? Wealthy and middle class people already kind of have something like this set up for their children already.
Yeah, they're
They're
already doing
trying,
that.
however, they're trying to say that those in the lower income brackets will benefit. However, most are barely trying to scrape by with what they have. So they will more likely not contribute as much. But at the end of it all, even if they don't contribute even a penny and they decide to just remove all of that money out of their fund at 30, which they can. So from 18 to 30, there are certain restrictions that you have between 18 and 30. At 30, you can withdraw the entire amount with no restrictions, but like from 18 to 25 or something, it's like for school or something, or like your
Okay.
first home. So it doesn't necessarily have to be just for school. You can spend it on like us starting your own business. So it's not just school. And so I did the math and I said, okay, so say the 30% of Americans that can't afford to contribute to it, that person, the minimum they will receive is 3,300, the max about 7,700 if they withdraw at 30. The middle
Hmm.
class, if they contribute at least 500 a year, they're looking at about 17,400 to about 54,800.
Wow.
30. So the wealthy that can
Will
contribute the
benefit.
entire 5,000 can minimum make 185,000 to maximum $457,000
Wow.
at 30. So it just appreciates to that much. However, then I thought the rich people don't really, again, they already have something like this in place. So I'm like, okay, so who's going to manage this? And guess who's going to manage it? And guess who's
Who?
already private investment
Equity.
funds.
Of
Aha.
course.
So the amount of money when I kind of just total the amount of profits these companies will make and the amount of assets they're going to be managing is staggering.
And when you think about the fees that they get for it, because they'll get
Correct.
fees
That's
and
not even
all.
including the fees.
Wow. But
That's not
again,
even
you
including the
said it's not
fees.
including the fees. Wow. What?
That's just them just keeping it in the bank. That's not including all of, like you said, all of those transactional fees that
Yep.
happen if you are doing, taking money out throughout the years because you are able to do that. if you have the contributions in there. But
This,
it's not us that's going to be benefit. We are seeding this. Literally, we are going to seed this for them to just make 100% profit.
and they'll be able to write off these contributions again on their
Correct.
taxes. It gives them more tax shelter.
And then I thought, okay, $1,000 per baby born. Is this why they are pushing abortion laws the way they are? $1,000 per baby. So this is only for 3 years, but it has to be managed for 30. Because it's
Wow.
up until the 30 years of age that they can receive this benefit. And they
That you're
can't
tied up
opt out.
into
They can't,
this.
exactly. So for 30 years, they're going to be funneling all of that money, all of those fees, all of it. They're going to be,
Wow.
and they're going to do whatever those funds do now with the money. They're going to play with it.
Yep.
Billions of dollars to play with.
Yep. And it's going to be the
They,
test run that they do for playing with Social Security.
exactly.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God. But again, this is what happens when you have big business people come into your government. Because they're looking they look at the world differently. So they look at government as, let's monetize it. So when they want to monetize everything, that means they want to monetize our lives. That's what they want to do. And I don't want to, my thing is $1,000 is not enough money to have no damn baby. That's the first thing. $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
What am I supposed to do with that? I mean, even in an account, even if you gave it to somebody as cash, that is not enough money to decide to like make a life and be responsible for it with the cost of daycare, housing, food. Like what? Nah. Like that again, for people who already have money, these are just extra tax shelters. This little bit of that little $1,000 that they would get from the government, they don't really care. It's free money. They'll take it. But they like that they can put in, like you said,
It's
they can do
gonna
those maxes.
compound
Right.
astronomically.
Right. So they like that part of it because they'll just wait it out. And what's even crazier is at 30, their kid could then take that money and then roll it into even more investments. So it continues to compound more and more and more. But now they got $400 and something thousand to pour into more investments. And what did we say? What did you say the lowest could have? What was it? 7,000?
Then about $7,700 at the end of it all.
That's crazy. Come on.
Not even what
It's
it costs to administer it.
that it costs more to have a baby.
There you go.
It costs more to have a baby than what would be in that fund. But again, I keep saying, and to Monica's point, listen, it is about creating generational wealth, but for the 0.1%. That's all this proposal is about again, because again, that's all that big bill is about. I put up a video the other day where I said the Senate in that bill that they're working through, the reconciliation, they put something in there to allot $100 million to the Office of Management and Budget to completely reorganize the federal government, but with a caveat, with no congressional oversight. Where Office of Management and Budget would do the complete reorganization with collaboration with the executive office. So in short, Trump gets to decide what government looks like all by himself.
Yep.
So who we vote for doesn't even matter. That's the part I guess that gets me the most is, again, conservatives always talked about freedom. But now they're sitting around telling people, we don't care what you voted for. You're going to get what we give you. And I see somebody here saying they're catering to the low income with offering money for having babies. It's not even low income. It's low educated, because only the low educated will have a baby and think $1,000 is some money. See, you can be
And
poor
they
and
can't
know
even
that.
access it until they're 18. And even it
Wow.
has to be for specific things. They can't access the entirety of it until 30.
And what happens if the child doesn't make it to 30?
I try to look on there, there was no policy regarding that I could find.
See, that's what I would want to know. Does the government get to keep all that money and all those
However,
contributions?
I did see that if they are not born on U.S. soil, even to U.S. citizen parents, they are not able to receive this. You have to be
Now,
born on U.S. soil.
so they're saying in actual America bases and stuff
Correct.
don't count. Oh, child. So disrespectful to the military and military families. But again, Trump don't give a shit about the military because he already said if you served, you were a clown. You were a sucker. That is so disrespectful, man.
I mean,
Wow.
we know this.
Oh my. I would, you know what? At this point, the sad part is, y'all, we're not even 6 months in, right? Yeah, we're not even 6 months in yet. And the only thing I can wish for is for age continue to just keep creeping up on him. So it just gets to a point that he just gets slower and things don't happen as swiftly. But unfortunately for us, Trump has this old trough of people around him who are also doing this, helping to push this. He looked bad today. Hold on, let me look at it because I honestly didn't look at the parade because I didn't even want to see it. And you know it rained today during it, so he was upset that it was raining. So he probably didn't have on the makeup that he usually has on, which probably contributed to him not looking like, you know, as good as he would like to look. Hold on, I'm gonna look here and see. Because I've been trying to see a picture of him, but I have not seen a picture of him at all. I'm still looking here to try to see one. No picture.
And this isn't even about offering them money to have babies. This isn't an offer. This is just, that's going to be the quote unquote benefit. However,
Wow.
again, who is it truly benefiting?
Private industry. And then what happens when government, this is my thing. Why would anybody want to be a part of that? If the same people who are putting it together are already complaining about Social Security, then why would I want to put my money in a program like this? You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I get it.
That doesn't even make sense to me. That's why I say these people always talk about, oh, I see a picture of him. Oh, I see how he looked. Okay. So, yeah, him and Melania. Yeah, he just sitting there with the frowning face. I'll put this up tomorrow because I'm looking at it on my other device. And they say, okay, now I'm seeing something. The guy that did the Pew Pew in Minnesota, his name is Vance Bolitor.
Oh my God, I found something out about that too.
And he's anti-abortion, anti-LGBT, and a Christian extremist. And go right ahead, DCJ.
Oh, you need to see his sermons in the Congo.
I'm looking, yeah, I have it here. I'm saving it here.
Goodness,
I'm going to watch this.
Crazy.
And
I mean,
share
down on his
tomorrow.
knees and everything.
And that's something I'm going to tell you I don't like. I don't like when Christian volunteers go to Africa to spread Christianity. I don't like it. I think that it's disrespectful, that the only way for us to help these people is we also have to push our religion on them. I think it's indoctrination. I think it's indoctrination while pushing it on people when they're in a very vulnerable state, where of course they're going to say and do whatever it is you're asking for if I'm hungry and you're the one providing the meals. I just never liked those Christian missionaries for that particular reason. I think that Christianity is extremely harmful to the continent of Africa, and especially the Christianity that Christian missionaries tend to bring. I just think it teaches a lot of self-hatred, you know. I just don't agree with it. I'm not a fan. Okay, I'm seeing more about the empty crowd, and look at this. Wow, look at the bleachers. They're all partially empty. And we just got military people driving in tanks. And y'all know they had to give DC millions and millions of dollars because they're going to have to fix the roads now that the
Oh
tanks
yeah.
drove over those DC roads. They got to fix roads and bridges, not just DC, Maryland, and Virginia. That's the part that they don't mention in the press, but it's not just DC, it's Maryland and Virginia
I
because
think
they
they
drove them
said
over
it's gonna
multiple
be
bridges.
about like at least $16 million just for the damages alone.
Yep. We paid for that just for an old guy that shits himself can have a birthday party because don't nobody give a shit about his birthday. He would have had a bigger turnout if he would have had a private party at Mar-a-Lago with his donors. You know what I mean? He would have had, but he wanted us to see his party. See, that's how insecure he is. I need people, regular working class people, to see my party. Bruh, you rich. You're president. Why do you give a fuck about me seeing your party? That to me just reeks of insecurity. Even caring that we need to know about the party. That to me just says I'm insecure. I'm looking something.
And then I was looking up he was the CEO of the Red Lion Group, and I
Mm-hmm.
could not find a license. I couldn't find quarterly reports. I could not find anything. Is this a shell company? But then again, a shell company for
Mm.
what? But I
They do
couldn't
that
find
though. They do
anything.
that. They do all those pass-through companies.
Oh yeah, there was
And then,
nothing I could
yeah,
find.
that's weird and interesting. But again, now they can blatantly do shit like that because even if you expose them and say the company doesn't exist, it doesn't matter. Think about it. It doesn't matter now. Navarro wrote a book referencing some expert in economics, and the expert was a person he made up. It was him. And he's in the White House giving economic advice to the president. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, Trump didn't look too happy today, but he didn't look happy because he didn't get the crowds that he wanted. But he didn't get the crowds that he wanted because we don't care. And Laura Loomer had been tweeting out telling people not to go, which I found interesting. She was telling people not to go a couple of days before that. I'm so confused with her because she's a Trump loyalist, but then she told the people not to go to the parade. She said she felt it was a trap that Iran would send proxies to the parade. Mental illness is real. Mental illness is real. Yeah, but I would say, you guys, since in light of we knowing what we saw in Minnesota, be careful out there, y'all. That's the big thing I want to tell you. Be careful and protect yourself out here. And I say that because you don't have to be an elected official to get caught up in somebody else's mess and vengeance. So keep your head on a swivel. Be alert. If you see something, say something. Don't be silent, because that's the only way, honestly, to try to be. If we can prevent things from happening, that's really the only way we're going to get to a point of preventing things. Is if we see something, we got to say something. You know? No, Jason, that's Trump shitting when he tripped up the stairs. He shit and he pissed on himself. Ha 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 ha. You're booted. I just always have to say that before I boot them, because then they sitting over there mad after they get the boot. So just make sure that y'all just keep your head on the swivel, because I don't believe that things are just going to be isolated to one specific area. I think that things are going to happen all over the place. We also have a lot of foreign actors that are also participating in this stuff. We have a lot of domestic people, regular old Americans that are contributing to this stuff. And we have a political party that promotes it. So be careful and protect yourself. Another thing I would tell y'all, it's a lot of shit going around. Get your mask and your gloves and stock up. I'm noticing at the grocery stores, the employees wearing their masks. Ain't nobody making them wear them, because all of them don't wear them, but I'm noticing the majority of them are wearing them. When I went to the doctor for my yearly checkups last week, everybody in the doctor's building was wearing masks. Everybody. Okay? So they pay attention to the numbers. And when I say not so much numbers, not just numbers from the CDC, even though we know the CDC ain't really doing their job right now, health insurance companies know what type of claims are being filed. They know what people are being seen for. They know what the data looks like. And so when I see their employees doing things like that, that tells me that their employees have information. So take care of yourselves, protect yourselves, because this time we don't have a functioning government. It ain't like last time. So if we hit another pandemic again, it ain't like last time. This time we got a fucking clown show. And this time we are technically all on our own. All on our own. That's all I can tell you. Just protect yourself. I don't have any inside information. I'm not saying it to you because I got some inside information, but I can't tell you what it is. I'm telling you just based off things that I see. Because I'm a people watcher and I've been watching things. And I've been going, that's weird. They're not telling us to put on masks. But they had stopped. Everybody in here wasn't wearing masks for a while. And now all y'all in here wear masks now. That's even a doctor that I know, like one of my favorite doctors. When she came in a mask, I just know she the type of person, if she's doing that, it's a reason why she's doing that. It's a reason why. And she's a doctor and told me outright, the medical stuff and science in America right now is really bad. Protect yourself. That's all she said to me. She didn't give me more details. But I take it she has information. Protect yourselves, y'all. So I want to say, first of all, thank you all for joining me tonight. Thank you for coming out tonight. Thank you, for us to talk about the movie. I was going to certainly talk about what happened in Minnesota today. I was going to make it my business to talk about. We're going to talk in more depth tomorrow because I'm going to do some more digging on that today. I watched quite a few things about it today. But once they started trying to show that parade shit, deuces. I was out. I was like, yeah, I don't want to see nothing about no parade at all. So I made sure not to look at it. I thank you all for the likes. I thank you so much for them. I greatly appreciate it. Oh my God, we had 49,000 likes. I didn't even realize we had that many. DCJ, thank you so much, beautiful, for coming up on the panel tonight and sharing that information about those baby accounts, because I'm going to research that, and I'm probably going to do a video on that. Because, so that people don't fall for the okie doke. Don't fall for this shit, $1,000. Please. Except if you got money to put in. I mean, if it ends up passing and you got money to max out every year, yes, pretty smart to do. But if you ain't got money to do this isn't a reason to have a baby. That would be what I would say to people. Go ahead, DCJ.
I just wanted to say, one of the things that came to me when I read it, I said, it's an out-of-touch gimmick wrapped in a facade of fairness and opportunity. That's what it is.
Yep. And so many people are going to say, see, look at Republicans helping us. That's not helping you, baby. It's another bait and switch. Like everything else is a bait and switch. It just seems to me, I feel like some people got to lose everything, but hell, some people haven't, still in denial. That My Pillow guy's still in denial. Well, sure, we can do a movie once a month. We can go ahead, we'll start with, on the Patreon, I'll start something over there where we can start talking about the movie. There's a chat feature, so I'll open up the chat room feature because I think that's easier than the post, to talk about it through a post in relation to the movie, because we can have a more fluid conversation in the chat room and then take it from the chat room. Once we know what it is, then we can get into the voting about stuff. I think that'll be easier. So I'll do that. Yeah, Trump, yeah, he got something going on, but he also has lifts in his shoes too. If he take them fucking lifts out, he can probably actually walk a little better. But he's also doing that thing like most old people do, where they kind of bend their knees a little bit and lean over a little bit. The YouTube, it's in my bio. It's a Straight No Chaser Bishop. I think that's what it is. But the link is also in my bio as well. And I thank you all for coming by tonight. I thank you so much, like I say, for coming, participating, watching the movie. We had a great discussion about the movie. We had a great discussion about the craziness that's going on in government, in our government right now. And Living Life shared it for me. Thank you again, beautiful. It's Straight No Chaser. Look, I'm old. Listen. I'm talking about Trump. Listen. That's why I said I know Paw be struggling. I know Paul, I'm only 50 and sometimes I forget stuff. I know he's struggling at 79. Stop playing with me. Don't play with me. Even if he takes, what's that, Prevagen? Even if he takes Prevagen, I know damn well he's forgetting stuff. But as always, I want to I want to say thank you all for all of the gifts, and I certainly want to do a shout out to my top gifters, because my top 5 gifters. I always do this in every live. First of all, number 1, Beautiful Living Life. Thank you so much, beautiful. Number 2, Kiana Black. Thank you so much. Number 3, Beautiful Sanopa. Thank you, beautiful. Number 4, Beautiful Kim. Thanks, beautiful. Number 5, Beautiful Trell. Thank you, Trell. And thank you for the follow over on my Substack, beautiful. Thank you so much. And I want to send a special shout out to number 6, Beautiful Lynn. Thank you so much. I will be on tomorrow. I'm thinking tomorrow's Father's Day. So I'm going to be on probably about 8:30, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and stick around for about an hour and a half, because then I'm going to take my husband to this Indian place he likes for breakfast. It's an all-you-can-eat Indian buffet. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I bumped that standard issue buffet. If you're going to go out and have a buffet, you might as well go out and have that type of buffet. Ain't nothing like all-you-can-eat with tandoori chicken and what else do you get? Butter chicken with you got basmati rice. You got all the different appetizers, salads, desserts, drinks. Oh, it's lovely. Yeah, I love going to that spot. So we're gonna do that tomorrow. So I want to say Happy Father's Day. Yes, and paratha too. I love that too. Listen, one of my favorite dishes that I love to make. Listen. Make some butter chicken, y'all. If you make butter chicken at home, listen. I ain't saying you won't eat it out no more, but you will make it so frequently. Listen, butter chicken, that chicken melts in your mouth if you make it right. And check out a website called showmethecurry.com. That's where I get all my Indian recipes from. I've been visiting that website ever since like early 2000s, like when they first created the website. Those recipes are outstanding and accurate faux show. I've had a lot of my Indian friends tell me like, no. My Indian friend was the one who referred me to the website and told me to go over there to get recipes. So they have great recipes, and their butter chicken recipe is on point. I've made that recipe at least 100 times. Oh, and my husband loves samosas. He loves those. The first time he had them, he wasn't sure he was going to like them. That's his thing every time we go to the Indian buffet. That is his thing. If you have an Indian buffet in your town, go to it. But I love you guys. I will see you in the morning. And I'm going to tell you like I tell you all the time, don't let nobody live rent-free in your head. Don't feed the trolls. And you can accomplish anything you put your mind to as long as you stay consistent. Peace. Everybody have a beautiful evening. I will see you in the morning. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Good night.